keep it rolling.
I couldn't
There's
hear it.
nothing worth more. We're not going to start there. Bethany, cut that out, Bethany. Give us 3, 2.
There's nothing worth more that will ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place into the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, nothing worth more, everything close, nothing can compare. Our living hope, your I've tasted and seen the sweetest of loves. My heart becomes free, each is undone. Your presence, Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place into the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place into the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, let us become aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what
soul. Live for you alone. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm awake. Lord, have your way. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I live for you alone. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm awake. Lord, have your way in me. Lord, have your way in me.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to tonight's reality. We're so grateful that you join in with us for this time of worship and study, and it blesses us to get to do this with you, do it for you, and we hope and pray that it is continuing to be a blessing to you, that there is some way God is giving benefit to your life through this. So welcome, glad that you're here. Tonight we're going to just take a moment and reflect on a psalm just to give some thought to the new year. And then next week what we'll do is we're going to resume our study of 1 Samuel, and we'll be starting in 1 Samuel chapter 8. And that will be our plan for a little while. When Ash Wednesday comes, we will take another break from 1 Samuel and then spend some time in a Lenten series getting ready for Easter. So that sort of gives you the idea and plan. But tonight is just a time of just reflecting with a psalm, Psalm 126, if you want to turn there. Psalm 126. This is a psalm that typically every January, every first of the year, I take some time and I just meditate in this psalm. This psalm has been a deep well for me, and one that has spoken, the Lord has used to speak to me in many, many different ways, many, many different facets. And so I just want to bring it before you and offer it to you as a reflection for our beginning of a new year. If you'll join with me, I'm reading from the NIV. It's Psalm 126. When the Lord brought back the captives to Zion, we were like those who dreamed. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like the streams in the Negev. Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with him. And that's the psalm. It's a real short psalm. It's one of the songs of ascents. This is one of the songs that they would sing on their way to Jerusalem when they were making a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. So now, the thing that I want you to notice is the very beginning. It talks about when the Lord brought back, or some translations say restored. What's being talked about is that there's been some kind of transition. Now, the word captives in my translation, some translations use the word fortunes. Another translation uses the word exiles, when you brought the exiles back to Jerusalem, is the way that it translates this verse. It's that captives or fortunes or exile. It's not an easy word to translate into English. It's a little bit unclear. The idea is some kind of transition has taken place, just like what we have come through. We have laid to rest 2020, the year 2020, and we have begun a new year, 2021. We have made a transition into a new year. And so then I think that one of the things that this psalm highlights for us is what are things that are important or valuable to pay attention to in a transition. So And the way that it has, as I've meditated, reflected, and studied this psalm, the way that it has come to me is through questions. Now, so I'm going to walk through the psalm and going to ask some questions as I walk through. And here's what I would suggest that you do. Of course, write the question down so that you can use it later. But one of the things I would ask you to do would be to write down, as you ponder the question, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, and write that down. Now, that doesn't mean that anyone or even yourself is going to hold yourself to that first answer. But a lot of times the first response is enlightening. It's illuminating to us. And so it'll have some things to say to us. So let me just recommend to you that you, after you ponder the question just a moment, very quickly, then that you write out your first response to that. So notice it says, when the Lord brought back the captives to Zion, we were like those who dreamed. Now, let me unpack that word dreamed just a little bit. Some translations say we were like dreamers, or it was like we were dreaming. The idea here is not a selfish dream. This isn't what this idea is about. It's not like, oh, I'm dreaming for a big boat, or I'm dreaming about my mansion. It's not selfish dreaming. This is dreaming that is in line with what God dreams for you. I mean, this was God's dream, to bring his people back to Zion, and therefore it was his people's dream as well. So that's what this is about. This is a dream that is in line with what God dreams for you, his purposes, his plans, his reasons for calling you into existence. What is that? And so the first question that I would like to ask you is, what do you need to dream about? In 2021, what do you need to dream with God about? What is some of that for your life, and are you thinking about it? Are you picturing what God is dreaming for you? Are you giving space to dream with God about your life and the lives of your family and your spiritual community? What do you need to dream about for 2021? Now notice verses 2 and 3. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. And then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. So the question that comes to me through these two verses is what do you need to laugh about? In 2021, what do you need to laugh about? Now this can have sort of a double edge to it, In other words, where do you need to be laughing more? How do you need to be increasing laughter in your life? And then the other side is that maybe some of the things that have taken place in 2020, or maybe some of the things that you're facing in 2021, you just need to laugh about it. And laughter has this medicinal quality to it. It is like medicine to us, to the human body. There is an actual case that was studied. The man's name was Norman Cousins, and I don't remember if he was the editor of the New York Post or the Washington Post or something. It was some large, well-known newspaper, or if he was the owner. I don't remember quite exactly. But he was a man of means. He was a man of notoriety. And he contracted a disease where his body began to consume the sheaths that his nerves rested in. And so what would happen then is that all of his nerves, all over his body, would begin firing. And he was in agony, just sheer agony. There was no medication. There was no treatment for this. And so in the hospital, he just suffered tremendously. One day on the TV, a Three Stooges show came on, and he just started watching it and began to laugh some. And then he noticed that after the show was over, that he had about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes of relief from his pain. So then he ordered, there wasn't any videos or DVDs or anything like that in that day. There was only films. So he ordered a projector and a screen and he got films from the Marx Brothers, the Three Stooges, and other comedy acts of that day. And he got to where he was able to leave the hospital solely due to laughter. Now, I'll tell you, Diana's doctors in Phoenix encouraged her to laugh. They wanted her laughing to help her with some of her pain. And so what we would do is we had a constant flow of the show Monk on, or Frasier, or Friends, and just helping her try to laugh some. Laughter is very, very important to human health. So what do you need to laugh about? What do you need to laugh off? And just let it go. What do you need? How do you need to be increasing laughter into your life for 2021? This is something that's valuable and important in transition. And then notice that there's singing and shouting in these verses. Some translations say we filled our tongues with songs of joy. Some translations say shouting. So shouting / singing. The idea here is celebration. So what do you need to be celebrating in 2021? What do you need to be giving celebration to? 2020 has been a hard year for almost everyone. I don't know if you heard about the New Mexico community who decided that 2021 was a dumpster fire for them. And so they literally, to celebrate its ending, they literally cut out on the side of a dumpster, "Goodbye 2020," and then had the firemen had the community bring things they wanted to get rid of, and so they started a fire in this dumpster and just kept dumping things in it to celebrate the ending of 2020. 2020 has been a hard year. But we can get to where we focus on all the negative because it's been so hard, and we miss a lot of the good. So what do you need to celebrate in 2021? Now for us, for the Lathams, we have had so many weddings. We will celebrate, in 2021, we will celebrate 1-year anniversaries several times. And now plus a couple of days of 2022 for Emmy and Brian, who just got married this last weekend, January 2nd. And so 2021, we're going to do some partying on first-year anniversaries. Once in Dinah and I's life, one day, and I don't remember what the present was, and I don't remember what the date was. We'll just say that it was September 15th. A day that has nothing to do with celebration. But one day, let's just say it was September 15th, Dinah presented me with a present. And I said, "What is this for?" And she said, "I just wanted to give you a present." And I said, "But why? It's not my birthday. We're not commemorating anything. Why are you giving me this present on September the 15th? And she said this, she said, "Because September 15th only comes once a year." Well, celebrate. What do you need to celebrate in 2021? Now also notice that it says, then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. So another question is, what do you need to recognize that God has done for you? What do you need to recognize that God has done for you? In other words, have you spent some time counting your blessings? Because of the weddings, and so many of the weddings in our family this year, the Latham Nation has added people who are a blessing to us. We have been so blessed by what God has done in the young people in our family. And I'm very serious. The ones that have been added to our family are incredible blessings to us. And so, what do you need to recognize that God has done for you, and celebrate that in 2021? How have you spent some time counting your blessings? Now, notice verse 5. Verse 5 says this: those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. Now, notice the words sow and reap. Those who plant and those who reap or harvest. Now, what do you need to sow or plant in 2020? Or, I'm sorry, 2021. What do you need to invest in? What do you need to deepen your roots in? What do you need to dig down into? If you know me very well, you know that I'm a person who is fun challenged. I really struggle at finding things to do that are fun for me. I'm sort of lean towards the serious side of life, the somber side of life, sort of reserved and not very not very boisterous. So what becomes of that often is that I just become sort of fun challenged. I don't know how to have fun. So guess what? Guess what I'm going to dig down into in 2021? Guess what I'm going to deepen my roots in 2021? I'm going to make some investments in learning how to have some fun. Now, the other side of that, what do you need to reap or harvest in this new year in 2021? What do you need to multiply? What do you need to replicate or create? Diana was famous among our friends for handwritten notes of encouragement. I mean, she was phenomenal at it, and she had incredible handwriting. And she would find this beautiful piece of paper or buy some note cards that were very beautiful. And then she would pick someone out, and then she would write them a short little note of encouragement. Well, I want to replicate this next year. I want to replicate that for 2021. I want to work at bringing fruitfulness to people's lives by giving them handwritten notes of encouragement. What do you need to reap or harvest or multiply, replicate, or create? And what do you need to sow and plant? What do you need to invest in, deepen your roots in, dig down into for 2021? And then finally, if you'll notice, verse 5 and 6, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with him. Now, tears and weeping. And what do you need to cry about in 2021? What do you need to grieve about? What sadness or loss do you need to give attention to as you transition to a new year? Beloved, there are some things that can only be spoken in tears. They can only be communicated with weeping. And again, like 2020 has been a tough year, and you may be facing some things in 2021 that deserve to be communicated with tears, with weeping. What do you need to cry about from 2020? And what do you need to cry about for 2021? The last thing that I would offer from this psalm, even though I've mentioned it before about singing or shouting, In the NIV, it ends with verse 6, he who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with him. Now, I just want to end with just asking you, what do you need to sing about? In 2021, what will you need to sing about? I think, I don't have a great voice. When it comes time to singing in a congregation, I sort of do this so that, I don't disturb the people around me. They don't run from the room. But I think it's important to sing. I'll get my phone and find a song that means something to me, and when I'm by myself, I'll just let it go, and I'll sing with the person the artist that the song that presented the song, and there's just something that singing does for you. It's kind of like laughter. It kind of cleanses you. It kind of encourages you. So what do you need to sing about in 2021? Well, beloved, this is a reflection of 126. It's a psalm that I think is very valuable to spend some time with as you enter into a new year. I try to do this every January. And so I offer it to you as you begin this new year. What are things you need to be dreaming about? What are things you need to be laughing about, celebrating? What are things that you need to be recognizing that God has done? What do you need to be sowing? What do you need to be reaping? What do you need to be crying about? What do you need to be singing about? Well, beloved, I hope that there will be fruitfulness come from your reflection of this psalm. This is just sort of a very short and quick look at Psalm 126. I recommend that you spend some more time with it, and hopefully with the questions. And I hope that there is benefit and fruit for you because of this. Thank you for joining in again. And next week we will turn back to our 1 Samuel study, and we'll be in 1 Samuel chapter 8. And thank you so much. Be blessed. Bye-bye.